Hi, everyone, and welcome to Selling Coaching in the Age of Free Workouts. My name is Alejandro, and I'm a customer adoption specialist here at ABC Trainerize. In part of this session, we're going to be talking about how to position, package, and price your programs so that you can show your value and avoid racing to the bottom, all right? And I'm really happy to be speaking to our guest today, Brandon Carter, who is also known as King Keto. Brandon, thank you for being here.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. I'm a big fan of Trainerize. I've been using it probably since its inception.
That's amazing, man. I love to hear that. And I really, kind of going through your profile and understanding a little bit more of your background. So, Brandon, you're a seasoned fitness coach, you're a keto expert, entrepreneur, best-selling author, and the founder of the High Ticket Trainer program. Now, you've helped over 15,000 fitness professionals grow thriving online businesses. And now, with over 1 million followers across social media, which is a crazy number, you're known for a no fluff, high impact content on sales, mindset, business growth for your coaches. And I know our coach community is going to get a ton of value just hearing from you today and learning from your knowledge. So I have a few questions prepared for you if you're ready to kind of start diving into it.
Man, I can't wait.
All right, man. So first and foremost, like I said, you've already helped thousands of trainers building thriving online businesses. From a mindset perspective, what is the biggest shift that a coach needs to make to start selling confidently in today's business?
You know, the biggest mindset piece that a coach needs to make, in my experience, is when you're training people online, there's a lot of competition online, right? There's
Yeah,
tons of trainers, right? And in order to stand out, you have to really niche down a little bit and figure out exactly who your target market is, who you want to help. And that can be difficult, especially as trainers who've trained a variety of different kind of people uh, in person, right? Because you're already niched down in person, but it's by geographics, right? There's the
right.
geographic limitations, right? So you're one of a few trainers in the gym, right? So in this, your client base is going to be people in the gym, right? So you've already niched down, but now because the client, the potential market is infinite, now we have to niche down from different parameters, right? So I tell my students, you need to decide if you want to train men or women, first of all, right? Because you can train either one, right? But it's difficult to market to both. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, there's some Old Spice deodorant in my house, right, that I use, and then there's some Shore deodorant that my girlfriend has, right? And the scents are almost identical. The 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 ingredients are almost identical. They're made by the same person, the same company, Procter and Gamble, right? But they're smart enough to know that they can't make one deodorant to market to both men and women because they have different whys and they resonate with different marketing material. You know what I'm saying? So you want to pick a gender that you want to market to. Not saying that you won't have women clients if you focus on men. Not saying you won't have men clients, but who's your focus? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you want to niche down even more to pick what age group, right? Because you're a young guy, right? What are you in your 20s or something?
31, but
You're
thank you.
31.
I'll take
You're
that.
31,
Yeah.
right? Your goals are probably different than mine. I'm 42,
Yeah,
right? We're 10 years apart. Our if we want to be in shape, we're probably thinking about different things right now. You get what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Like I'm thinking about, I don't know if you have kids, but stuff I'm thinking about is like being able to have enough energy, to run around with my son at the trampoline park instead of sitting down like
Yeah.
all the other, right? I'm thinking about longevity. I'm training different. When I was 31, I would hit workouts, high intensity stuff. 42, it was more elliptical, steady state, right? Because I'm thinking about my joints and the injuries I've accumulated over the years, right? So things are so different once you get past 10 years. So I say first pick a gender, then pick an age group that's about 10 years apart, right?
Mhm.
Because even though I'm like 11 years older than you, right? But we probably just have different goals right now, right? It's too far. And if you try to be someone who's 50 in your age, it's gonna be thinking way different than someone, who's 20. I would hope,
Yeah.
right? I would hope. And so this is gonna help you with your marketing, and your why. right? Because now we have to market ourselves. When you're in the gym, you're just one of the trainers in the gym, right? It's like, yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Some gyms don't even, a lot of gyms where you don't even do the sales, right? As a
Yeah.
trainer, they just
Yeah.
assign you, right? So it's just random, right? But we have to be intentional with our marketing when we go online, right? And and then you want to think about your unique mechanism. What can you specialize in as far as like your goals? Yeah, the goal of that person. For example, I have a student, man, one of my students, she made $1.5 million last year as an online trainer. Her name is Kelly Nicole Fit, right? And we can talk about scaling and stuff later, right? But one of the things main things she focuses on women age 25 to 35. That's her target market. And those women who want to grow their glutes, right? And that now she's focusing on something. Right now, it's a focus. She became an expert at that. So any trainer who knows what he's doing can help any woman, grow their glutes, right? But from when you look from the customer's perspective, do you want any trainer who's helping you with all types of stuff, or do you want the specialist? You know what I'm saying? What do you specialize in? Does that make
Yeah. So
sense?
if absolutely. So if I can kind of just put it into like my own words, it's basically first and foremost, you need to be clear on a target audience. Who are you helping? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing in that demographic and be very, very specific.
yeah,
Once you understand who that is, understand the value that you're bringing. So what is it outside of, just regular general fitness? What are
yeah.
you helping me achieve? And not the how, but the what. Like, what am I walking away with after working with you?
Yeah, that's definitely because you want to specialize in something. Like when I first started online training, I just wanted to specialize in helping men, young men aged like 20, 25 to 35, get ripped. And I use their words, right? As trainers, a lot of trainers don't like stuff like ripped or toned, but I tell trainers to use that when you're marketing to customers because that's their language. Like as a
Right.
trainer, I know when we say ripped, oh, you want to be muscular with low body fat. I know what that means, right? But I don't want to speak jargon
Yeah.
to it because then the only people who's going to resonate with my marketing are other trainers and they're not the target market. So I need to speak
No.
their language. These guys who wanted to get ripped. But here's the thing. An old guy might want to get ripped too, right? Why does a young guy want to get ripped? You tell me. Why if a guy you just turned 30, when you were in your 20s, why did you want to get ripped?
Well, there was multiple choices, but the quick one I can give you right out of the gate, it was probably just very much vanity, looks, wanting to look good and feel a certain way, right? And
Yeah.
I can tell you, coming now into my 30s, I have a young daughter,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're a growing family, so my goals have absolutely changed. Going back to your original concept of there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot more differences in what we're acting now,
Yeah.
right? And what we are hoping to get out of our fitness journeys.
Alejandro, you're absolutely right. So if you know the why, see the
Yeah,
why changes
yeah.
um when you change genders and when you change age groups, right? You can have the same goal with the same in the same thing you specialize in, but the why is different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right?
Absolutely.
So
So understanding the why and understanding the reasoning behind why your market or your target audience wants to achieve a certain goal really is what we do with a premium offering, right? So
yeah,
to bring this back to the coaches, if you're a coach, how can you determine if a high ticket model is the right thing for you, right? And when should a
yeah.
coach on the flip side of that focus on high ticket over a low ticket? And is there maybe a place in which you can actually do both in the fitness business we're living in right now?
Yeah, low ticket doesn't make a lot of sense unless you have like a lot of followers, like hundreds of thousands, because the math doesn't add up. It's more difficult to sell a lot of cheap stuff than it is to sell a few higher price things. So I think unless you have hundreds of thousands of followers on the platform, high ticket is the way to go, right? High ticket is the way, and we can talk about what that looks like. But low ticket, it's just it takes too long to make money. Unless you got to either have a huge following or you need to have um, a lot of money that you can spend on ads, and you need to know how to run ads, which is a whole nother skill set. Yeah. It's a whole nother skill set. And it's not as simple as just pressing the boost button on Instagram. Matter of fact, if you're listening to trainers, never press that button. I've never heard about a human pressing that button and making money, right? You have to get into the actual ads manager on the Meta ads manager and then go in there and do it right, Um, but I digress. Yeah, everyone should do high ticket because the math adds up.
Yeah.
Math
So
adds.
ultimately, trying understand who you want to target, what it is that you're looking to accomplish with that audience, target that specific audience as an individual, and then be able to sell something that is meaningful to that person, to that target audience, right?
Yeah.
That's basically how they can determine whether that high ticket model is right for them.
No, I'm gonna make it super simple for you. It's like it's simpler than that, Alondra. If you don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, at least 300,000, then you should not do low ticket. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be too difficult to make money sustainable because you're not gonna sell a reoccurring course in like a school group or something like that for fitness. It ain't gonna work like that, It you might be able to sell a course, right? But the average course, let's say, is $50,
Mhm.
right? How many of those you gotta sell? You gotta sell to make $10,000, right? Like
Yeah,
200.
it's a low ticket offer. What are some other like let's call it mistakes that you see new online coaches doing when they're setting their prices? And what's maybe one way that we could actually try and help avoid those like common mistakes?
Yeah, I would say here's the minimum pricing, right? And this is the minimum for online training. And we can talk about what it looks like later or whatever you want. But if you're selling, you could do 16 weeks of training for like 997, $1,000, right? You can do, or you can do monthly for 297, 300, right? Or you can do weekly for $80, right? And those are like the tiers I like, and that's what I teach. And it's the more they spend up front, the cheaper it is per week. Like if you did that math, right? But let's just say you just focus on the $80 a week, right? $80 a week is way cheaper than in-person training. You know how much in-person training is, right? I mean, especially you worked at Equinox, right? So
Yeah.
like it was way cheaper. It's like what? It's like $300, $500 an hour for training, right?
It was
It's
it was an expensive hourly rate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and it's cool, right? It's fine. But this is way cheaper. And if you get 25 clients, here's the thing. You get 25 clients paying you $80 a week, and you keep an average of 25 clients for 52 weeks, which is like a year, you'll make $104,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the math starts to work.
Yeah.
The math starts, but you got to have your marketing right, and you have to have your sales right too. Because another mistake people make when they're selling high ticket, they try to sell high ticket from like a link in their bio or swipe up or something like that. It doesn't work like that. Like what I teach my students to do is to get on actual sales calls, and I teach them sales, and they have a significantly higher conversion rate. But if you get on the phone with somebody or Zoom, and they have a real sales call with a solid script, and I teach in sales training, which is what I teach my students, then yeah, you can get $1,000 easy.
So understanding maybe the pricing breakdown is a very important thing. Now, within that pricing breakdown, what are some of the strategies that you would recommend when it comes to being able to package your services, right? Like what are you providing from a service perspective to your client to be able to justify that higher pricing and go into that sales call confidently?
Yeah. Well, just a few things. First of all, the person who you're on the call with, they want the thing you specialize in, right? So it's going to be difficult for them to price shop, because there's not a lot of specialists in whatever that thing is, and even if there are, you still stand out a little bit, right? So they want what it is, and what you're offering, though, workout plans, cool, diet plans, cool, right? And they can get that off. You can get that, right? That's not what they need. They don't really need that. I mean, it's going to be helpful. They can get that on their own for sure. The main thing we're offering is accountability, right? So what I teach my students to do, and what I do, I still train some people online, is I hit my clients up every morning, and I look on Trainerize, I see their macros, I see if they did their workout, I see, and I'm like, hey man, if they did everything, I'm like, all right, yo man, good job, let's keep going, and I'm texting them every morning, every day. I'm hitting each one of my clients up, right? And that's what I teach my students to, and if they didn't do it, I'm like, yo, what happened? What happened yesterday, man? How can we get you back on track? What we need to do to get you back on track? What's going on? Right. And it's that accountability. is really the main thing we're selling. Honestly, they can figure out a workout plan. You take the average out of shape person off the street, you give them like literally anything, and they'll they'll get results. But the main and we really got to focus on the diet because that's our advantage over in-person trainers, right? When in-person trainers, like when you worked at that big gym, big expensive gym, how many of your trainers were tracking their clients' diet every day?
Yeah, there's this concept that we like to talk around. It's, if I train you 3 times a week, which was, a very high frequency client,
Yeah,
there's 165 other hours in the week that you can still
yeah,
miss out what we did in the 3 hours that we spent together, right?
yeah.
So I can agree 100% that nutrition and being able to, again, have the accountability, the daily check-ins just becomes a whole nother level of support and value when you're actually driving that change for your client, when you're delivering that change for
Yeah.
your client.
That's the main
Yeah,
thing. We got to get them to do it and keep them
yeah,
accountable. That's our really job. Like the truth be told, we're accountability coaches.
yeah.
If we're being honest, you know. And I read a study. It was done by Duke University, where they had people. All they had them do was track their diet in MyFitnessPal. They were like overweight. They didn't give them any diet plan or workout plan. They didn't have them be in a caloric deficit. They didn't say do the paleo diet, be vegan, keto, nothing. Just track your calories in MyFitnessPal. That's all you do. And over the course of 3 months, they lost on average 5 pounds, right? Which is not that impressive, right? 5 pounds in 3 months is not, but until you remember they had no plan. They
Yeah,
said, keep doing what you're doing, just track it. Because tracking works. Tracking like works. So if we can get them to track, we could literally give them nothing. And they
yeah,
get some results. Now we put that with a solid game plan, a solid diet and workout plan, and we have them track that too. Then the results go crazy. And this is how, honestly, most online at least the ones I teach, I train, my online trainers are getting better results, way better results for their clients than the average in-person clients because the diet, like you said, those other 25 hours.
I love that. I love that you say that because ultimately I think accountability is a great thing, which kind of, brings me to the second portion of this question, right? It's understanding that I have to keep you accountable because you can there's so much free content or low ticket content
Yeah,
out there. There's, AI generated workouts that we can now quickly plug into ChatGPT and come up with something quickly, right?
yeah.
How should a coach approach that personal branding besides knowing who they're targeting for, and how can they change their messaging so that they can stand out?
The major part of it is once you have your niche down, your target market, and what you specialize in, that's half the battle for standing out. Honestly, that's more than half the battle. That's the first thing I teach when I get a new student, right? That's the very first, and we go super hard on helping them really figure out their niche, right? Um, and then after that, when it comes to AI, it's like AI is not the point where it can replace trainers because AI can keep you accountable. Now, yeah, you can get a good workout plan. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go and work out ChatGPT right now and put in my height, weight, age, fitness level, and say, hey, make me a workout plan that Brandon Carter will give me, or any other, right?
Yeah,
And I've done it with my name, and that's pretty much what I would tell, right? That's pretty much what I would say. But it's not going to keep you accountable. Make sure you do it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's not.
yeah, absolutely.
It's the accountability that we're selling. You know?
So as a coach myself, right? Um, I'm really curious to hear a little bit more about you because that clearly there's a lot of things that we can do with technology, with AI and automation. Um, and in my experience, having gone into the online world, there's a lot more than just coaching. I've been a coach for a long time, and I wanted to go into online coaching because I like
Yeah.
coaching. What I found is a lot more layers of things that I have to do, whether that's business administration, whether that's marketing, whether that's sales, things that they don't tell you that they are going to happen when
Uh,
you're going into the online coaching business, right?
yeah.
So for you, maybe what are some of the tools or better yet, which way can we leverage all of these available like technologies that are coming out, right? To make sure that I can spend more time doing the thing that I want to be doing, which is ultimately coaching and providing, delivering a great service for my clients versus spending that time doing things that maybe I don't want to be spending or leveraging because I'm not the greatest at it, but I need to be. doing?
Yeah, the best way I've come out to leverage online, I mean to leverage AI for online trainers is it helps with content ideas. A lot of people who haven't been doing this for a long time, they have difficulty coming up with ideas. What do I post? What do I post? And we teach our clients what to post and how to make compelling content that help them like uh, help grow their following and their reach. Um, we teach them a lot of structure, but with AI, a lot of times, man, you could just type in, a prompt like this, something like act as my social media manager. Give me a topic for 10 Instagram, give me 10 Instagram topics for Reels, in the style of Jeff Nippert or somebody, right? It could be
Yeah.
anyone, right? And it come or whoever you resonate with, right? And that prompt will give you some good ideas or something, or you can give it more context. And and it might not be perfect, but those ideas may give you ideas, right? And that's how I found the best use case of it would help with ideation when you're using like really any LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. If you swing that way, you use Claude or Grok. You use Grok if you nasty. It doesn't matter. All of those have similar functionality. And ideation is a lot of maybe even script writing. You know,
Yeah.
those are the best ways.
Help support like an ideas board, understand how you can
Yeah,
continue to impact and just have a little bit of back and forth, maybe in a more closed environment where you can, feel free to put down your ideas and play around with possibilities and where you can bring that content.
yeah. I've done. Like even I use it sometimes if I'm like need to come up with some ideas. I'll use a prompt similar to that. It's I can use my own name, right? We get the style of Brandon Carter. Come up with some stuff. Hey, that is cool. That's something I would have said.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And I love to hear that. So, all right, we've kind of covered, understanding how to niche down, how to target that audience. We've understood how to package and provide value to a high ticket offer. Now, let's say I've gotten to a full client load. How can I, as a coach, scale without working, 12 hours a day? What are some of your favorite methods for scaling that are going to deliver the impact and keep the service quality and your work-life balance?
Yeah, I get really excited when coaches reach that level. What we've noticed is if somebody's doing this full time, right? They got a point where they're doing it full time. At around 50 clients, it's it's a bit much for a one man show. That's when it starts to get like really overwhelming. And that's the average. Sometimes it's like way lower than that, where it's just overwhelming. And that's when you want to start hiring people, honestly, you start hiring people to do stuff, so we teach our students how to do that, and we help them along that because a lot of them have never been like entrepreneurs before, right? So they have to learn how to hire people. They need to learn the laws behind that and the way to do it, right. And the way I think about it is like what's taking you the most time, right? A lot of times that's video editing. Yeah, a lot of times that's the first thing you do, video editing, and that frees up like hours every day, right? And then maybe after that you hire coaches underneath you once you have some of that going on. Um, and then maybe you hire someone to help you with your DM setting, right? Because what I teach my students to do is get on sales calls, right? And but a lot of that happens through the DM conversations, right? Then you get them up. So that might be the first hire too. It really depends on what's taking you time, but that's another hire. And then and what I really try to get it to do is get the trainer to the point where he has coaches working under him, he has video editors working under him or her, and DM senators working under them, and then they're at the point where now all they're doing is actually making the content, but not editing it, like or even posting it. So in a lot of cases, all they really do is making the content and managing the teams, but sales is the last thing is because it's the most important, and it's going to be difficult for anyone to have as high a close rate as the coach. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
So because it's the most important, and it is also difficult to find like good salespeople. Um, that's the very last one. that we outsource. But then you outsource that, then you get to that point where all you're doing is the contents, you know. But
That's
it's gonna
amazing.
start, yeah,
Yeah, so understanding again, like where your area, what's taking you the longest and bringing you the least, call it, return for your
yeah.
investment of time, right? If I could be spending,
Unless it's sales, right? Sales
of
is even
course,
if that's taking the longest, that's a good problem to have.
of
And that's
course.
the last one you outsource. It's most
So
important.
understanding what that low-hanging fruit is in terms of like this is not what I'm the best thing at, but
Yeah.
I can get someone doing my video editing, right?
Mhm.
So I can use those 2 hours and actually coach my people,
Yeah.
make some more content, do some great ideas,
Mhm.
and then slowly like that keep peeling back those layers of the things that you're not necessarily like your presence isn't crucial at, and
Yeah.
then that way you can bring people on board. You can start building out a team, allowing you to scale and not necessarily have to be glued down to your computer or to your content for 12 hours a day.
Yeah. And until you do that, you're kind of running like a hustle, like a
Yeah,
more you're solopreneur. And it's difficult to scale if you're one person.
that's amazing. That's amazing value, Brandon. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing all of that wisdom. I'm sure this was invaluable for many of us. So more to come for everybody, and stick around for the next section. Okay.
Awesome, man. Thank you, brother.